Hello, hello YouTube. This is the best yellow deck of the format right now. This is it. I've tested this deck. It has about 50 wins, but I have tailored this deck to perfection. This deck is crazy. And we're going to talk about it. And hopefully this inspires people to build decks, and do cool things and try new things instead of just being meta sheep. This deck punishes the meta sheep, which is really cool. So if you guys like the deck, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, turn notification on Smash Potatoes. That way you know when all these amazing Digimon deck profiles come out. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get started here. I'm not going to spoil anything about the deck. You saw Venusmon, and the deck will reveal itself, don't worry. We play 5 eggs. We play 4 Cupies and an Upa. Cupimon being the when you have 5 more security, draw a card when attacking. This happens often more, which is why we play 4 copies. And then the 1 Upamon here. When you attack with 3 or lower, you draw a card. So this one's a lot more common. We play 4. Upamon comes up sometimes. We play 1. Not a big deal. It's all good in the hood. That's it for these. Now moving on to the rookies. The main rookie of the deck, or one of the main rookies, is 4 copies of Salamon X Antibody. This card's kind of insane. So it's a rookie, which means you either have to evolve it in the back, or you can evolve it on a Salamon that you promote. When Digivolving, has to be on a Salamon because of the when Digivolving effect, can't do it in raising. You may look at the top card of your security. You may add it to your hand. If you do, you recover. That's pretty good. It lets you loot your security. Lets you loot it. Lets you heal. Or you can just leave something broken there. This card's amazing. And we actually followed up with, my opinion, the best Salamon for this deck. 4 copies of the EX1 Salamon. Now this is the Salamon you don't regularly see play. This is a weird one. But this card says once per turn when attacking, you have 3 more security, draw a card. So there are times when you have Cupid, Sala, and Sala X. You do the thing. If your hand is kind of suboptimal, you swing and draw 2, turn 2. That's it. It's that good. It's that good. If you evolve all the way up and you keep going, then it makes big, powerful stacks that don't die when you attack, and you just keep drawing cards. Because you will be at a lot of security. It's not a security control deck by any means. I don't do security control, just so everyone knows. But there's some control elements to the deck for sure. Anyway, so 8 rookies. Actually, no other rookies. We don't need any other rookies. We need nothing else. The only other rookie I would consider is Pillowmon if you really hate your Bloomlord matchup. But I like my Bloomlord matchup, and it's fine. And there's another card I'm going to suggest later on if you have troubles with the matchup too. Okay, rookies are done. On to champions. We play 4 copies of the starter deck Gatomon, the one that when you play real top 3 out of yellow and purple, lets you evolve into your angels for 1 cost, and end of turn DNA Digivolve, which by the way, we never do. We don't play any DNA Digivolve cards. So it's literally just there for the searching, and it's literally just there to make like our mega lineup cost 1. Great card. Card's broken. We do play 1 final champion though, and it is the Black Gatomon with Rush. Also is Retaliation heritable. That I don't think that's come up like more than 3 times, but usually it is just Rush for game. You bring it back, you swing for game. Card's kind of cracked. That's it. Moving on to the ultimates now, that done the champions. The only one we play 4 of are 4 copies of Angelomon X XX Antibody. This card is incredibly good. I went onto a small tangent a little while ago. This card is like Jet Sylphimon. It's just worse. But you can play 4 of it, so that's really good. Evolves for 0 on an Angelomon. You are hopefully always evolving on Angelomon, first of all. Second of all, when evolving on anything, you minus security check something on the opponent's field. Cool. But if you evolve on an Angelomon, you recover 1. As long as you're 5 security or less. So like it's a more restrictive Jet Sylphimon that requires extra pieces, but we play 4 of this. We're always healing. We're always healing. You'll have to see it. We play 3 copies of the Venusmon from the Venusmon starter deck. On play, -2 check something. It also gives you security +1 if it is purple. That comes up sometimes. But it's there when you can play it with a Hell Scythe or something, you minus check something. There's big synergy with this card, which we'll get to very soon. We play 2 copies of the original starter deck Venusmon, the one that heals you if you have 3 or less when you evolve. It comes up, sometimes your opponent gets an early start on you, so you just evolve into that, you heal, you evolve into that, you heal again. It's very, very good. It is very, very good. The last ultimate we're playing is because we're playing 1 copy of Hell Scythe. Not a security control deck, not a Venusmon deck, but we are playing just 1 random copy of Magna Venusmon. The on-play recover. The unconditional on-play recover. With the +1000 boost for every 3 security that comes up sometimes. It makes your Venusmons pretty big sometimes. We play the 1 because we do play the 1. We play some Hell Scythes. And that's really it. I have no other reason to play that card besides that. But let me tell you, the 1 comes up because as soon as you get this, you always see it. You always have access to it. So that's really nice. I love it a lot. That is it for the Ultimates. We are going to move on to Megas next. For Megas, we are playing 4 copies of Venusmon. This is the gimmick of the deck, as you guys might have seen by the first card there when I showed it off. Venusmon is broken. Venusmon, I think, is one of the best cards in Digimon right now. The card is that good. Now, what does it do, you might ask? That's a great question. So when Digivolving, it gets a blanket security -1 effect on your whole opponent's board till the end of their next turn. Basically like hitting a Holy Flame from security. -1 blanket everything. Anything that comes out, anything that's already on the field, -1 checks. Which is really cool because it prevents your opponent from doing any real damage to you. But then you also get this ability, the opponent's turn. If an opponent has a security attack modifier, I don't know if you guys can see the card. This is not really working out too well. Oh, there it is. Yep. Opponent's turn. All opponents for security attack can be plus or minus. Can't attack this Digimon and can't activate when attacking and when Digivolving effects. And the evolution effect gives it that. In addition, things like I told you before, like this Venusmon, give it the security. Things like this give it the minus security. There's a lot of ways to give things minus security in this deck. So you keep the Venusmon on the board, you keep doing the Venusmon control, and it just prevents your opponent from getting any real value. It crushes Melga, and it's annoying-ish against Bloomlord. Ish. Annoying-ish. So we played 2 copies of that. The next 3 cards in the deck I'm going to show off real quick. There is like a slight modification, if you guys are interested in the slight modification. In this deck, we play 1 copy of Avenged Kid, and we play 2 copies of Venusmon. This is for us to recycle our options, recycle Calling, loop the Avenged Kid, and win via deck out. Which is a thing you do in this deck sometimes. Sometimes you just play for deck out. You do. You really, really do. Now, the modification is... I've been alternating this second Venusmon with a copy of Death Xmon. This, I'm hit or miss between Death X or Venusmon. Turning this into a Death X makes your Bloomlord matchup a lot better, makes your Jessamon matchup a lot better. But if you don't have issues with those matchups, the 2 Venusmon give you a little more consistency, because when you evolve it, you just add any Digimon back to hand, which is kind of wild. It's really good. That lets you toolbox whatever you need to toolbox. And I found the toolboxing very, very important. More important than having a blowout, per se, for Bloomlord or Jessamon, when those matchups are still winnable anyway, if you're playing it right. But if you do want a free win button against those big wide board decks, change one of these into a Death X. Otherwise, 2 Juno, 1 Avenged Kid is doing wonders for me. That's it for the Digimon on the deck. We're going to go on the Tamers now. I would say the only bad matchup for this deck is Black War Greymon, because we played 4 copies of Mimi. And this Mimi is really good at activate options, because you tap it, either player does an option, you gain memory. If you have multiple, it does really cool things. The problem is Black War Greymon eats it up. It feels really bad. I'd say Black War Greymon is the #1 bad matchup for this deck. And in testing this against BT11 decks, which I've done, again, it's the only really bad matchup. And it kind of sucks. But, you know, Black War Grey and Hades Force are cards. Gotta consider those cards. Maybe change things around. Whatever. Anyway, 4 copies of Mimi. Really good. We play 2 copies of TK as a memory tamer. Grab a card from security and heal along as a yellow card. Really, really cool. And we play 2 copies of Kari Kamiya, the memory tamer that says when you heal, suspend it to gain memory. We're healing a lot, so Kari does put in a lot of traction. It does help you a lot, in my opinion. So that's really it for that. And just as a thing real quick, I talked about Black War Grey real quick. The matchup is super winnable. You just have to prioritize things like Venusmon a little more over your Tamers. Because if it is BT11, you also have to keep in mind Hades Force. But if you can blanket them with Venusmon, right? And you can keep the Venusmon train going and all that, it becomes very hard for your opponent to do anything with that. Plus, they have Guilemon, which gives security. Plus, if they're playing the security +1 Greymon randomly, they also get security from that. Plus, if they're randomly paying Tai for some reason, like Memory Tamer, they also get security attack +1 from that. So, like, if you know what you're doing, this becomes a really hard matchup if you're on the opposite end of this. But at the same time, you can control Black War Greymon enough. Just have to be careful with your Tamers a little bit, and it's perfectly winnable. Absolutely. Anyway, that's it for Tamers, 8 Tamers. The rest of our deck is options. We play 12 options. We play 4 copies of, if anyone can guess it, 4 Holy Flames. Because Holy Flame is just broken. It's like Venusmon. It's just, like the mat, everything adds up. It's just meant to be. Between Venusmons and Holy Flames and the random neg security check cards, this deck is so... It feels toxic. It's not security control, but like this deck feels awful to play against sometimes. We do play 4 copies of Flame Hell Scythe. We use this to bring back our little body, 6,000 or less, and deal 6,000 DP damage. Good at getting rid of annoying little things that are causing you issues. That's really it. Usually bring back Mana Andromon, sometimes bring back an Andromon so you can evolve Andromon X over it, and minus check with the Andromon's on play effect. Like, there's definitely a lot of synergy with the Flame Hell Scythes. We played, surprisingly, 2 copies of Chaos Degradation. Again, if this was a full-blown security control deck, there'd be 4 of this, like, guaranteed. There's only 2. Because this card, like, it's a really good card. It's a really good top-end card. But going into BT11, this card gets a lot worse. But it's very good against literally every other matchup. So we play 2 copies of it. And everything is recyclable too, because of the double Juno Avenge kit. It makes it a little more consistent. And you're going through your deck like nothing. Like nothing. And then to round out the deck, 1 copy of Reinforced Memory Boost because it's at 1 copy of Calling because it's at 1. That's it for the deck. I swear to God, this is probably one of the best decks I've ever come up with. This whole little Andromon stall strategy with Venusmon and Holy Flames. This deck is really good. I have put in the miles. It wrecks Malga. It wrecks it so hard. So hard. And other meta decks as well, obviously. It can have a rough time in the Black War Grey because of the Tamer hate and the protection and BT11, the Greymon X. But besides that, it's very strong. It's like, I definitely try it. It's a really good control deck. I recommend giving it a shot. I really do. Anyway, that's it for it, the deck profile. Let me know how you think about it. See you later. Bye.